So good morning, everyone, and welcome to Political No Brainer, the podcast where we move past winner takes all politics and into real conversation. And it never gets more real than when I have the A team on. Charlie's not going to be here today, which is a little disappointing, but it's also a great news because he's traveling. The Thanksgiving thing is all beautiful. I was actually saying I have to work, which is unusual. I've had Wednesday, Thursday off for 24 years, going on 20, well, going not going on 25 years. That streak has broken. So I am going to work. But that's fine. That's fine. My mom was a little devastated, but I'll be there. And I was telling Beth that they feed us and I'm not going to eat because the food has tryptophan in it. So this is something I know nothing about. I wish RFK would do the show and explain more, but he probably won't. But it makes me tired and I just want to do my 8 and hit the gate. So I want to be able to finish and go. So I'm going to bring a turkey sandwich, generally with cheddar cheese and lettuce and a little hummus because I no longer can have mayo because I'm a little stout these days. So it's a good sandwich. I like it. So I just wanted to mention that on the podcast because we do move past winner takes all into real conversation. I think Thanksgiving is a real day, a real life person event. It's comes up with a lot of controversy as well, like everything else in life today. But I am thankful, very thankful for my friends, my beautiful friends, my family, my life. We are all thankful. We live in America, the lucky gene pool, as Warren Buffett calls it, the lucky gene pool. So, guys, what are you thankful for? I'm thankful for everything. I'm just that whole who's that singer that says it's good to be me? Mr. Cracker, Uncle Cracker. I was listening to that song today. So, and then I was going to get into another topic and then into the real topics, but I was watching a podcast. Shaka Mitchell does this great podcast. He talks about music. He says, so he had a guest of mine, Laura Lucra. She said that he asked, what's the song that you identify most in life? I guess essentially was the question. I don't do his show, so I can't speak for him, but that's how I interpreted it. And Laura said, y'all going to make me lose my mind. She was talking about her kids. And I thought that was funny. But, what Beth, Kevin, what song do y'all identify with as far as I so let me jump in. I identify with I want life is a highway. I want to do it all night long. I always like to work nights. I always like to stay up all night and then come home and watch TV until my wife says, "Are you gonna ever go to bed?" And then I go, "Yeah, oh yeah," because I fall asleep at the TV. But Beth, what do you say the song is that you identify most with in your life?
Well, right now I would say Crazy Train right now.
Ozzy
Just
Osbourne.
yeah, for the holidays. I mean, it's always like that, but you know,
The holidays preface emphasizes that, right? It really
exactly.
excoriates
It's
that
really yeah, and
because
legendary.
me
Yeah,
too, except I'm not the greatest gift shopper, so generally I just get gift cards at the last minute, which is I think and my kids just like cash, which is even easier. I don't even have to go to the Walgreens. So I mean I'm really not the greatest I actually did have a better moment in my life the last few years. I got everybody in the family bicycles last year. This year, a friend of ours, I got him a battery buddy. They're an old couple that has batteries, packages of batteries everywhere. And it just happened to be in Home Depot, and there was a battery buddy. You could put the different AAAs and all. So I felt pretty creative this year and last year, but I think that's coming to a quick end. It's going back to gift cards and cash. But Kevin,
yeah. Well, first and foremost, it's so good to be here with both you, Coach Trippy, and Beth, and everything. And we send love out to Charlie as he's traveling today for his Thanksgiving festivities. And man, so much in that first blurb, Coach. So I will start with my the song that I identify most with, and it is a classic Rolling Stones song. You can't always get what you want. And the key lyric is you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. I mean, yeah, to me, that's been my life, and by reminding myself that I do get what I need, that's where your joy comes from. That's where your optimism comes from. That's where what, it's still okay. We still have something to work with, because it's true. What Beth was alluding to, it can be a crazy trade. We, we have a cavalcade of crazy running our country for a number of years. So yeah. But yeah, I you can't always get what you want is the song. And coming into these Thanksgiving holidays, I have, to tell you the truth, I have my family, my little circle has pulled back from the crazy. From pullback. We about 5 years ago, once all the kids became adults and everything else, what we try to do is we try to do events, we try to do activities as opposed to the massive gift thing and cash and gift cards and try because that's where the crazy is. That's go down to any store, any type of retail store. It's a madhouse. And the thing is you got to get whatever the trending gift is and just if the kids no, it's the crazy train. So we really it's not a stress period for us. It's actually a celebration for us. And we are doing, how about this is a difference. We're doing Thanksgiving on Wednesday and we're hosting and stuff like that. So that the actual Thanksgiving day when all the crazy's going on, now we're chilling and the game is on or whatever music is playing and we're just relaxing, right? But we're doing it on Wednesday. And you're having the girls over to the house. Our two daughters live out in Portland. They're coming over. My mom is coming in. She lives in Camas the next time over. And so that's how we're doing it. And we're looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun.
That's beautiful. And I love that you're doing it on Wednesday. I once told my wife when we first met, I'm nice when I want to be nice. So you don't get flowers on Valentine's Day. You might get them another day, but that didn't
Yeah.
go over so well. So
Can't
I
imagine
did.
that would have.
Yeah,
But
well, we fixed the Valentine's Day thing, Coach. Me and my wife Nikki, we got married on Valentine's Day.
wow, that's beautiful
Yeah, so
too.
we so
That's
we figured outdoor wedding. It was beautiful weather. It was like 70 degrees here, and the point being is that because how do you convert this Hallmark holiday into something that's more meaningful? And so that's what we decided to do. So now, yeah, I
I
can't
love it.
skip this one.
I used to tell my wife every day is Valentine's Day. We don't need money. We need love. We have love. And she used
We
to say,
got
Jesus, did I
love.
marry a Jew or not? And I used to go, another one of those.
I love your wife.
So
Wow.
another one of those. I tell her someday you're going to miss me. And she says, in Argentina, we have a saying, the weeds don't die. So, it's always something with her. So I
I
never
love
know.
her.
He is too much. That's
But
Coach.
so now I love the way. What did you call my initial intro? What did you call that huge? What did you call it? The huge tirade. What did you call that, Kevin?
Well,
The
oh,
blurb, the blurb, the
the
blurb.
blurb.
So
Yes, yes.
let's get into the butt of all this. So Kevin has an amazing book. I always talk about it. I always read it. I always feel like I reference it. Like sometimes people reference the Bible, but this is interesting. Onward at Last, the 2024 presidential election edition by Kevin Howard. It's a great book. And I'm on to now what separates you and me from the Walton family, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and a very extremely wealthy person on the planet is cash. And that is very true, right? So I make the point, I think I may have even made it with us on the podcast. I watched Robert Reich, who is a very pedigree economist. He's an instructor at professor at Harvard. He was Bill Clinton's, I believe, labor secretary. He's been
Yep.
around forever. And he points out with sort of a point of contention the thing that made Jeff Bezos this amazing success is his mom initially loaned him $250,000. And Jeff Bezos, again, these are multiple separate conversations, but he had told his mom, we're at about a 70% chance of failure. She said, son, I believe in you. Wrote him a check for 250 grand. 250 grand she probably didn't have. They were not a wealthy family. And he turned it into whatever it is today, $1 trillion enterprise, right? And his mom benefited. Of course, that initial investment is probably worth billions now. But my point is that, and I've made this point, when we talk about cash and being the catalyst of somehow achieving something, big success, or one of Warren Buffett's sons, he gave him stock in his company and he invested in a theater because he's a musician. He said, if I wouldn't have invested in if I wouldn't have spent it all on this theater, I'd be worth billions today. But all I ever wanted in this life is this theater, and I'm glad I did it. But I've suggested that we turn politics upside down, and student loans could also be a loan for a small business. Start a small business. And I have interviewed incredible people. One of them has a business where it's a refill store where you get this incredible beauty products and you refill them. And so first of all, it's environmental friendly. It's significantly healthier for you because of the aerosols are bad for you. And she's done extremely well. She doesn't use Amazon as her distribution center. She has her own distribution center. She has stores everywhere. Her distribution center is in her own distribution center is in North Carolina. Now, my point is if we did have this sort of creativity, if we did have this option for kids, would we see 100 Amazons today? Would there not only be one? Would we see 1,000 multiple successes today if we encourage kids to really take a chance on and invest in themselves?
Well, Coach, I mean, I think that's a great question, where I was going in that blurb that you read was the problem that that aspiration causes. So can we start with the proposition? Okay, do you believe that the Earth, and which is the source of all the resources we're talking about, all the stuff that is being shipped by Amazon, that this is natural resources that we have improved through technology and innovation into products and services or whatever. Okay, do you think that the earth has a finite amount of resource, a limited amount of resource that it can produce?
No, not unlimited, no.
Well, so then you agree that the Earth has a limited amount of resource.
Limited,
Here,
yes.
yes, okay. Here is the problem with each of those billionaires, right? Is that what is the ethics underlying everyone trying to be as wealthy as possible? Everyone, because what the money does is a claim on the resource. So Jeff Bezos has hundreds of billions of dollars of resource that he can claim, right? In a context where half the planet doesn't have enough resource to even contribute. Okay, so what's the ethics underneath that? Because this is the problem. I don't think the solution is that we need 20 Amazons. I think the solution is that we don't need Amazon at all. It is making gluttony a virtue. The amount of pain and suffering that most people experience in the world is because some people take more than they can actually use. There's no way that Jeff Bezos can use all the money he's claiming. And we've made it a virtue by saying he earned it legally. So what is the ethics underlying earning more than you could ever use in a context where most people don't have enough to get by?
Beth, jump in. Take any part of that because there's a lot to unpack from both of us.
Well, I'm sorry, I missed a little of that. The last part I got was that Jeff Bezos has more money than he can spend in a lifetime, and I just think it should be illegal. But I am I am for capitalism, but there's got
Well,
to be there's got to be a better way to get that wage gap, from Bezos to his employees. I mean, Amazon, I think, is one of the worst companies to work for, from what I'm understanding.
yeah,
Is that
well, no,
right?
Beth, I will narrow the question because I would love to hear because I hear you, you didn't hear the whole thing. Okay, so let me just narrow the question. What
Okay.
I'm saying here is that this is that we only have a limited amount of resource to support the 8.3 billion people on this planet, right? The earth only can produce so much resource, right? And that what is the ethics? What is the morality associated with everyone trying to claim as much resource as they possibly can? Because this is what billionaires are doing. They have quote unquote earned their billions because they didn't necessarily steal it, right? And so we've made it a virtue. We've made it a good thing. We've made it something that we should all measure ourselves in. And I'm saying so Coach asked, should we be encouraging kids to have the skills and education necessary so that we could have 20 Amazons? And my reply to that was that no, that there's something fundamentally wrong in the ethics of everyone trying to be billionaires, everyone trying to claim more resource than they could ever use. Because what it does in the real world is it creates the scarcity. It creates half the planet, most of the country has less resource than they need to even have a major contribution to society. So this is what it's creating. It's creating shortages. So that's my question to you. What
Well, do
what
you
is the
believe that if Bezos wasn't the owner of Amazon, and there was, say, I don't know, 15 Amazons, quote, where you think there would be more um
Shortages.
Do you think so? I mean, like,
Yes.
I kind of feel
I think
like with Amazon being as big as it is, I don't think there would be more people ordering from it and therefore taking more resources. I mean, I just feel like
The pie would
that,
be divided.
right. I
well,
mean,
the point is that what is the ethics of taking more than you can use? What is the ethics of
well,
that?
I don't believe it's ethical, but
And that's the problem. So
that's sort
why
of
are we encouraging?
capitalism.
No, this is the fundamental problem with capitalism. I mean, we've made capitalism a religion, right? Capitalism, okay,
Absolutely.
under capitalism, right? If Beth has to have something, the price for that have to have is as much money as she got in her pocket. That right. That's not what's the ethics of that. And in other words, if you're walking in the desert and you need water under capitalism, right? You mortgage your entire future to get the water because what? You have to have it, right? And this is what no, that's not good. That used to be good when we didn't have the technology, when we didn't have the innovation to actually extract more resource than the earth can produce in a year. But we have innovated our way out of, colonial economics, out of when the humanity was a small footprint on the planet, to the point where we are dominating the planet, destroying the planet, right? Because we consume everything. And here we are in the holidays when we're supposed to be being thankful and stuff like that. And it's crazy train. Why? Because we're going to do it again. We're going to consume way more than we need to consume. Why? Because it's just a part of the capitalist tradition, and the retailers, if they don't earn 75% of their annual income in these next, couple of months and stuff like that, then it's a bust year and they can't grow. This is capitalism. It's destroying the planet, and on top of it, it's not serving most of the people who live in it. I mean, most working class people, most middle class people are doing much worse than they did 30 years ago. And it's because of this greed, this gluttony of, to say, I have a claim on everything. I should be able to have 300 billion dollars so that I could spend $20 billion to go into the upper atmosphere and then thank the workers that I pay $15 an
Mhm.
hour to. I mean, this is why do we celebrate this? Why we need to break that. This is not about socialism. I'm not talking about public ownership, but I mean, I'm just saying, why is this good? This thing that we call capitalism.
I
Well, I
don't,
don't know that any. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just going to say probably the same thing. I don't think, I think capitalism is good um, when it was, when everyone had equal footing,
Yes, yes,
when there weren't inheritance or money made today. I think 60% of people who have wealth, it's inherited. So like
yeah.
there are very few self-made millionaires, and it's all from, and there were people who were sort of um, things were taken from them because of their race or color or ethnicity, and they have never been given reparations. Even Native Americans. I mean, we're still talk about greed. I mean, we've
Yeah.
taken over all of their lands, and they've got little sections here and there. So yeah, but how do we change it going forward? I mean, that's sort of like putting the genie back in the bottle. It's probably not going to happen.
That's
Well,
my biggest question to Kevin. Is my biggest question to Kevin is how do we change it going forward? Now, I have suggested how we change it is divvy up the pie through education. Simply put, so again, when I said I love to quote Warren Buffett, he once said the reason 300 years ago everything was equal is because everybody had equal skills. Everybody was a farmer. Everybody was a fisherman. Everybody was possibly a store owner buying products from the farmers and the fishermen, putting them into a small area of his store and selling it at a small profit. Then came the epitome of capitalism. Those who are better at all this started consuming everything. How do we change that moving forward? Because all we see happening is that's expanding, moving. It's expanding and contracting. It's expanding in a way that the real successful are getting more and more and more, and everybody else's piece of the pie is contracting. So how do we change that moving forward? That's my biggest thing when I ask Kevin. People do want success. people do want. I'm fine with the home I have. I'm fine with the car I have because ultimately in 2 or 3 years I'll have another car. I'm fine with my share of the bounty. But there's people that don't even have the little bit, or not necessarily the little bit, but there's people that don't even have what I have, what you have, what Kevin has. And how do we, that's the idea of spreading the wealth. Then we get into the notion of the environment, which I don't mean to ramble, but just an example of the complication of the environment. Farmers produce more food per acre than ever before because of the fertilizers and the technology. Then the fertilizers come up. There's so much fertilizers and they're so toxic. When the rainwater comes, they wash off into the oceans, and that fertilizer is destroying our oceans. So there's all these constant contradictions and and then suddenly you get the convictions that we're all getting it wrong and we're all harming the environment, we're all mitigating everybody's chances to accomplish anything. How do we do better moving forward? Which is a point I was going to bring up later, that I've seen three Democratic presidential prospects are rising. I see John Ossoff, I see Josh Shapiro, and I see Gavin Newsom are rising, starting to make the headlines that they're probably going to run. But they're offering the same old recycled bullshit that they've all offered before. So how do we do better moving forward? That's my question.
Well, okay, first and foremost, we remember that we innovated capitalism, right? That we capitalism didn't exist 500 years ago, right? Okay, so first and foremost is that, right? That we are capable of co-creating new systems, innovating new systems. That all the economics that we're referring to is based on rapid innovation that we've done. So we're capable of creating something new, right? Okay. Then how about start with the basis of the founding of our country? We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. If that's the aspiration, if that's the truth, what is this virtue that somehow some people are better than other people? That's a lie. Not if you're an American, if you believe that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that all people are equal. Well, if all people are equal, that means that they have an equal claim on the resources that all of us need to survive, right? What we have created is a system that some people dominate the claim on resources, while most people don't have the basic resources they need to even contribute. That doesn't work. So we need to use our innovation. We need to stop this vicious, binary mythology that if you critique capitalism, it means that you must be, God forbid, a socialist, as if we haven't innovated anything and everything else, right? So let us be innovative. Yeah, because we can do it. I mean, what is this fatalism, this notion that we can't expand past capitalism, that we can't take the things that we learned over the last 300 years while we have done capitalism, right, to create a new economics that actually serves everyone in the economy? Right? How about that? Right? We
Well,
can do
I
that.
think what's coming. I mean, I don't know what you see when you say we've got to move past capitalism. I don't know what is past capitalism. But
Well,
I
past
think
capitalism
AI
is,
is going to be taking even a bigger hit
well,
than.
yeah, well, the AI, this is what I mean about, okay, so AI is an incredible technology, it's an incredible innovation. In my opinion, the greatest danger of AI is that it's private sector entities who own it. So the benefit of AI is going to go to private sector people. That is not good. That is because the cost of AI is it's going to put many people out of work, right? Okay, so who should benefit from that? Okay, and this is what I'm saying. To it is going to what we're doing is that capitalism is at everything has a reasonable range of operations. Capitalism worked when the average person could get the benefit of their labor. So everyone can be successful based on their innovation, their skill development, how willing their willingness to work, their ethics, all that stuff. Okay, and it worked for a great period of time. But now it is at such a point where most people can't access the skills they need, most people can't access the resources they need, and therefore and more of the resources are going in the hands of fewer and fewer people. And artificial intelligence will simply close the loop to the point where most people will be irrelevant to wealth. Humans won't be needed to produce anything because AI and automation will take care of it. And for people who have the money and the resource, they will close the loop. And we're going to have a planet of these mega cities, beautiful, that only the extremely wealthy people and their folks can live in, and the rest of us are going to be out here in Mad Max and Thunderdome because we won't be even needed. You can't exploit. We don't need to exploit you anymore because we got it all covered. you know.
But let me jump in for 1 second and ask the question. When we say, first of all, the biggest word is innovators. The innovators are our children. We're
Yes.
past this. We're past this. Me, Kevin, Charlie, Beth, myself are doing a podcast talking about what's next. What's next is what our children do next. And so my point has always been, take Kevin's theory, take our understanding that we need to reinvent capitalism. How do we convey that message to our children? Now, I've literally introduced so many exciting guests. Travis Mizrael Fink, the Future Is Now Coalition is
Yeah.
the and it's the notion that when I keep saying reinvent schools, reinvent education, to reinvent capitalism, to get the point across that you may be replaced by AI, and let our children know this is your problem. We may not be around to foresee what happens next. I mean, this is your problem to we granted you this shit show, and we're asking you now, we're somehow, how do we empower them with the knowledge to fix it? I've made numerous suggestions. I've literally interviewed a person that sat with Donald Trump when he signed the White House initiative to stop targeting Christianity. Past that conversation, we got into how churches are the most underused facilities in the country. And I said, how about we teach life skills in our churches? Like he said, they really only use churches on Sunday mornings and sometimes Wednesdays. We got 5 days a week. We can bring our kids in. Some kids are starving, suffering from food insecurity. Bring them in, feed them a beautiful meal, and talk about these things. Tell them capitalism is consuming every single opportunity you have. How do you want to change that? And how do we convey that message to them? Your message is important, Kevin. How do we get the point across to them that they need to take the lead on that initiative?
Well, Coach, what I would say here is that first and foremost, it's not just on them. I mean, let's just be candid here. Between the boomers, well, let's put this: the boomer generation screwed this thing up. This is where it got crazy, and people want to say, "Oh, don't blame us" and stuff like that. No, 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 no. If you look at the trajectory of every generation, you know, in American history, you're going to see a trend line where the next generation had a better life than the last generation. Well, the boomers broke that because the Gen X did not have a better way than the boomers, and the millennials did not have as good a way as the Gen X, and the Gen Z has not had as good a way. That's what I'm saying. The trend
Well, hang
line
on.
is
Let me
horrible.
actually do
So
one
so
thing.
so no. So answer to your question, Coach, is first and foremost, it's incumbent on those of us who understand how the situation has got out of hand and is falling off the rails, to use our knowledge and experience to participate and fix the system. The idea that the kids themselves, what the kids are doing, you know what the kids are doing? They are out. They're saying this, they are not going to replicate capitalism. You're absolutely right. You want to know why Mandani is ascended in New York? Why there's a socialist who got reelected, who got elected in Seattle, right? While the mayor of Boston ran unopposed. What is ascendant, right? Is an absolute rejection. Oh, you want your nightmare? Here it is. Absolute rejection of capitalism because it does not work for most people. And that's what the kids see. So that's what they're doing. And I'm happy for them. And what are we doing? We're saying that they're lazy. that they want it easy, that they're not willing to work for it. No, they see their parents dying an early death, grinding in some cube, for a dream that doesn't work. That's what they see. So but so it's incumbent on us to take the knowledge and the benefit that we got, to the extent that we benefited from capitalism, and fix it, reconsider. And there are people working on it. John Fullerton, founder of the Capital Institute, is developing something called regenerative economics, right? The idea that the economics of the future should be based on principles that we see in sustaining living systems in nature. There are sustaining ecologies that have lasted 1 million years. Well, what are they doing that allows them to sustain 1 million years, right? We should have an economics that does the same, that secures the future of our children and their children's children, our progeny, right? Because what we are doing now cannot sustain. We're destroying the basis by which the economy exists based on how capitalism functions now. So we have to change it. And so there are people who are doing it. And that's what I would say. The boomers and the Gen Xers who need to get up their game and start reconsidering how can we fix what has gone so wrong.
Well, Beth, jump in. Kevin's got a great point. We're the boomers and the Gen Xers. I was just going to say two age groups in the boomers and the Gen Xers, because there is some confusion when we do talk about the boomers, the Gen Xers, the Gen Zers. There is some confusion. I think a lot of people are familiar with it, and I think a lot of people aren't so familiar with it. The other thing too is okay, so Beth, you're a mom, you have kids, we've all gone through this. I'm a dad. Kevin's had dad, he's got kids. We've all gone through this where we just don't have enough. How would you suggest we change capitalism? Now, Kevin's saying John Fullerton has a way forward. How do we convey the message of John Fuller to every child? How do we create them? I've said the churches creating life skills classes. I've said that. I've said they're underutilized buildings, and I've also said about the food insecurity. That's been my suggestion, creating these life skill courses, whether they're on the internet, whether they're in the churches, with folks like ourselves explaining to them how we move forward. Beth, how would you suggest we move forward in a better way?
I don't think you're gonna like or appreciate my answer, because when I look at people who are wealthy, even just uh, a millionaire, or people that that are wealthy, not I know a lot of them that didn't get that way ethically or morally. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So
we know a lot of them.
Yes.
I was, yeah, and I think I was working at Gators at the time when I would see, just some people that seem to have a lot of things, and you would think, wow, gosh, what do they do for a living? And then you find out they're a con artist or a thief, or they didn't get successful morally. They did it by scheming, lying, conning, stepping all over people. And I kind of feel like when we see kids today, they see that too. You know what I mean? They see people with their hands always out. There's always people that are just takers. They'll never give back. Their hand is always out. And so when we say, what do we do to move forward? Shake it up. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can't go back and change the past, but we as a society in America, we have more power than we believe we do, because we need our jobs and we need to make incomes, but we need to really start demanding certain things. And I think millennials sort of try to do that, and they got this character where people thought, well, they're lazy, they're quiet quitters, things like that. When really they were like, no, we know our worth. We are the ones who make you money. And if you want, to continue making money, you're going to pay us what we're worth. And then, so, you got to keep moving in that direction. Close that wage gap.
Close the wage gap, right? There's a start. Let me just go ahead, Kevin.
Have to.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Beth that the kids see the actual lack of ethics in so much of how wealth has been created, you know, by these previous generations. Okay, that it's not been just innovation and playing by the rules and everything. It's writing rules that favor you. It's buying politicians. It's influencing the court. Okay, but and so but here's the thing. I think they are demonstrating how empowered they are, right? It's just that we don't like how this transition looks. We have, okay, our political parties, the way we govern ourselves, our government of the people, for the people, by the people, is between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And who we get to choose as president, for example, is based on who the nominees of these two parties are. And so these are the only choices that America gets to exercise their power. And I'm saying we can look at what happened in the 2024 election, right? And we can look at the amount of money and how power lined up behind Kamala Harris. The idea that Trump is a billionaire obscures the fact that wealth did not line up behind Trump. Wealth, as in Republican wealth, as in this Republican establishment and Wall Street all lined up behind Kamala Harris, right? And so what did youth do? Voters who are 18 to 24 voted for Donald Trump 54%. Voters who are 24 to 29 voted for Donald Trump 53%. My point is this, despite money lining up behind the Democrats, and that the people who did vote for Kamala Harris represent 62% of the GDP of the country. Wealth is over there, right? Despite the fact that she had $1.5 billion to spend in 3 months, right? Okay, this is what youth did. They rejected it. Now, the problem is, and I agree with everyone who might criticize Trump, is that could we not offer them a more credible alternative? Right? A more credible anti-establishment alternative. I agree we could have. I would have much preferred Bernie Sanders. I know, Coach, you don't like that, but I think you would prefer Bernie Sanders over Donald Trump.
I certainly would, but what I prefer about Donald Trump is when we talk about a shaker-upper, he's been a shaker-upper.
Yes, this is what he
Okay,
does.
I
That's how
don't
he
like
gets
him.
benefit.
I don't like anything he's shaking up, but I was always the one on the sidelines that said we just need to tweak this. We just need to tweak that.
Oh, we don't need
Shaking
to tweak
up's
it. It's broken,
right,
Coach.
shaking up is good. It's what he does, and they're talking about him grifting. He's benefiting $5 billion. I said,
Oh,
listen, I don't know what the numbers are. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing, confirming or denying. I'm just saying if that's your issue, pay the guy $10 billion to walk away from the White House. That's not the issue. But here's what I'm saying though, is that it's a big elephant in the room when we talk about where the money went, where the campaign donations came from and where the campaign funds went to. Like you said, two candidates, whether Kamala Harris raised her billion and a half in 90 days and Donald Trump took a year and a half to raise his billion and a half, $3 billion was raised. And we need to take the money out of politics. And one of the things I said to Adam Mizell of no, to Travis Mizrael of Money in Politics, and he's with Fink, the Future Is Now coalition. I think some people like the idea. Candidates should have a donate button, and it should say, donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital, donate to Smile Train, donate to cancer research, children's cancer research, not to me, the candidate. And when you have candidates doing that, and they become the premier candidates because they're doing that, you've taken the money out of politics. And kids are rejecting the billions that are going into politics. They're
yeah,
rejecting the Facebook snippets. They're rejecting the billboards. They're rejecting all the nonsense.
yeah.
And that's why I'm saying we don't know what tomorrow holds, but we know who holds tomorrow. So how do we convey this message to them to be the shaker upper? Let me give that question first to Beth. How do we create that? I keep saying it's somewhere in the education system, but it's not going to be in the K through
Absolute,
12.
absolute. You just nailed it. It's all about education
All
because
about education.
uh, wages, yes, it is a big motivator for wealth, but it's not the only path to wealth. Um, basic economics for people nowadays. I mean, I really feel like people before they buy a house should take a basic economics class, like the 50-year mortgage nonsense.
That Donald
Yeah,
Trump suggested.
30 years, people, not even going to get to it, but 30 years, you get to be about retirement age. Nobody's going to be working into the 80s, but I mean, maybe they will. I don't know. But if we don't change things, they will be. But starting to, and it's got to start at the top, like getting kids or this new generation better pipelines to education, better access to economics classes, better access to property, being able to buy a house and to manage their money and to open avenues for them to be business owners as well. Like these are things, and then closing the tax loopholes for these ultra wealthy. There's so many avenues you can take to help this new generation, at least spread it out a little bit. And the days of you work hard and you do the job, nobody can live off $15 an hour. I think that's what it is in Florida now. The federal minimum wage is still like $7.25. But we have to, as an American society, like really push for those things that we want, the new generation needs. We can't just keep idly going by like we have no power. We really do.
Well, and I agree with that, Beth, but I mean, I just think once again, it's really important from their perspective that we stop lying to them. And one of the big lies, that they see, right? I mean, it is the fact that the people who talk this game, the people who say that they're all about the working people, okay, they've run the federal government, for 20 of the last 32 years, right? And what is the state of education? Why has the education system collapsed over the last 30 years, right? When Democrats ran the White House for 20 of the 32 years, right? I mean, what did Obama do? What did Clinton do, right? Other than benefit themselves, other than become wealthy themselves, how did they help youth? What did they do with student loan debt? What did they do with educational affordability? What did they do in their departments of
Well,
education to make education work?
I think Obama kind of gave that student loan debt or interest. It wasn't it. It was sort of like a give and take. He had to kind of give that away for the student loan
This
to
is
get
all
the
the
Obamacare.
excuses. This is
No,
all
I'm
the.
just. I mean, it's not an excuse. It's a
It's an
reality.
excuse because I
No,
can
it's a
tell you this.
reality. I mean, it is.
It's not a reality
It is
because you know
because if
what?
we
No,
have the
Oh, you
American
have to make
the
concessions in
Affordable
Congress.
Care
no, no,
Act,
no, 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 no. Yeah,
we did make concessions and we allowed
if
one
the
bank.
only concessions you make, if the only concessions you make is when it benefits the people, what? Because I can tell you there was
Well,
no.
the
It
Affordable
was
Care Act, if we don't have access to health care, I
the
mean, that'll be
Affordable
the
Care
first thing to
Act was
put
a
you in.
travesty. Oh, I mean,
Well,
how does
hang on. Let Beth make this point, though. Go ahead. Hang on.
okay.
Well, and I'm just saying, I mean, if you got to give to get. I mean, we just had a shutdown that lasted, it was the longest shutdown in history. And what Obama did, and he may have done it not well in your eyes, but he worked with the other side. We had to. So if that was what he really wanted. He didn't get his original, which was sort of, I think, universal healthcare, like the model that we had spoke about. He didn't get that, but he could get the ACA. And in the with the ACA, he had to give concessions. And one of the concessions was to give all the student loans to one bank. That was in the like give a little, take a little. To get their vote, he did that. And we're seeing now the downfall. And who did people who didn't see the concessions that he gave will never know that that is the reason why they are paying a ridiculous amount in interest right now.
Okay, so let's compare that example and the concessions that Obama made that would have benefited students, that would have benefited working people, compared to what Obama did for extreme wealth. Okay, and I'm just going to use the AIG example. Okay, we all have signed contracts with businesses. And when you sign a contract with a business and that business goes bankrupt, right? The idea that you can expect that your contract is going to be honored 100% is not the way the world works. It's not where no, if the business that you contracted with goes bankrupt, you're probably going to get pennies on the dollar, if anything, because they're bankrupt. Okay, so the Wall Street banks who rigged who brought the economy down in the Great Recession bought insurance, unregulated insurance from AIG, which caused the largest insurance company in the world to go bankrupt. And you and I, the American taxpayer, bailed them out to the tune of $180 billion.
Mhm.
And Obama was the president when Wall Street said, now that we bailed out AIG, Wall Street said that they wanted their contracts, the insurance that they purchased from AIG that caused AIG to go bankrupt, right? That they wanted to get 100 cents on the dollar on their contracts. And the American people protested in front of AIG and said
Mhm.
to Obama, do not pay
Mhm.
this is what caused the company to go bankrupt. They don't get 100 cents on the dollar, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And what did Obama do? Right? He gave them the 100 cents on the dollar and $20 billion
Why?
to Goldman Sachs. No, he said that he had no choice. That is not true. Under law, the bankruptcy, the nature of bankruptcy is that all the creditors take a shave. This is why in every other bankruptcy that any of us are involved, if anyone that we contract with goes bankrupt, we cannot expect to get 100 cents on our contracts.
Unless
No,
you're
that's
federally insured.
no, 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 no. This is not these. This was not federal insurance involved, right? This was unregulated insurance policies taken out by Wall Street banks with AIG that caused their bankruptcy in the first place. Okay, so there was no way legally that they had a claim on 100% of those contracts. No way. And so this is what I'm saying. When it came to wealth, Obama broke the law, broke American tradition, made sure they got paid. Goldman Sachs got $20 billion alone, right? Okay, what I'm trying to say here is that was where his priority was. And then when it came to us,
I don't think that was
when,
his priority. That was
no, no,
his.
no, no, no. We don't have
Hang
to
on,
think
hang on.
about motive. I'm
Let her just say
No,
that.
I mean,
How
go
could you?
ahead. I mean, we've already had
No,
this
all I'm saying,
conversation.
I waited.
I'm
I
not going
waited
to
until
change
Beth
my
was finished.
position.
I waited until Beth was finished. So this was wait for me to be finished. All I'm
Go
saying is,
ahead.
I'm not talking about Obama's motivation. I'm talking about what he did. What he did was make sure that Wall Street got 100 cents on the dollar on contracts when they made AIG go bankrupt, right? Which is against the law, which is not how it works, right? But when it came to the Affordable Care Act, he uses the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank strategy that Mitt Romney did in Massachusetts, right? That's what we got. We didn't get the public option to control costs, a not-for-profit insurance agency to make the private sector compete, right? No, he refused to do that. He gave the conservative version. So yeah, you talk about concessions. We didn't elect a Republican. We might as well have elected John McCain then, because he said yes we can, and what he did is yes we can. I can betray you in the same way that Bill Clinton betrayed the labor in the '90s, and he did just that. So if you want to know how to fix our kids, how to help our kids, stop lying to them. Stop telling them that the Democrats represent the people who are trying to help them, when the Democrats are only working for the wealthy in the
So
same
when
way that the establishment Republicans are working for the wealthy.
so when did that full payout take place to
Oh,
to AIG?
in the spring of 2009.
In September of 2008?
No,
Yes,
no,
that was
no,
Obama. That was not Obama. That was
no,
Bush.
no, 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 it was not. No, are you kidding me? Go check the protests at AI. No, no, AIG got bailed out in 2008. There's no doubt about it.
We
But
can we can
we're talking about the counterparty payments. Go check
we
the
can blame
where
Obama, but that was this entire that crash was
the
Bush all
well,
day long.
first and foremost, how could you even say that? Barack Obama suspended his campaign in
Why do you
September
think Barack
2008.
Obama was
You're saying it's not Barack Obama. Barack Obama suspended his campaign and went back to Washington because the Congress rejected TARP the first time.
No, actually, both
Okay.
senators. Actually,
No, no,
both
no, no, no,
senators.
no, 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 no.
John McCain
No,
suspended his
he
campaign
he
as well too.
did.
He was
No,
a
no,
sitting
no.
senator as well.
Coach,
You're
coach.
saying you're making a clear distinction between Barack Obama suspending his campaign. All I'm saying is, in all fairness, they
Coach,
both
please look it
suspended
up.
their. They both
coach, I'm
suspended
not
their.
saying. Wait a
When the
That was a
full pay,
clear
no,
statement. I'm just
please
pointing
look
out they
up
both.
please look up when the full payout of the AIG bailout was made.
Both
It was
both
made in
Republicans.
September.
First, I cannot say this enough. We bailed out for AIG in September 2008. That's
Yes,
absolutely true.
yes.
That does not.
Obama
No,
didn't
no,
take
no, no.
office until
Let me.
January of 2000.
Yes, but hold up. We didn't. The bailout wasn't paid to Goldman Sachs. The bailout was yes. We secured AIG in 2008, no doubt. The decision to whether to pay the contracts, the obligations that AIG had did not occur in September 2008. These are two different things, okay? And what I'm saying to you is, but if you want to talk about September 2008, right, let's talk about it. And coach, you're driving me crazy with this thing. I didn't say John McCain didn't suspend his campaign. I said Barack Obama suspended his campaign because he is the one who initiated the action. It wasn't John McCain who first suspended his campaign, and then Barack Obama said, well, I might as well join. It was Barack Obama who first suspended his campaign, and Senator McCain says, what am I going to do out here by myself campaigning when we have a crisis in Washington? And so, yes, he suspended his campaign, but the history
The
should
only
be
thing I was
noted
saying is
that it was.
Well,
I
if you
didn't
wanna do
say that.
history,
I
you
didn't
have
say
to
that
be-
John
I
McCain.
just said in fair distinction, they were both sitting senators and they both suspended their campaign.
Coach,
I didn't want to
coach,
single out Barack
coach,
Obama as the only one that suspended his
coach,
campaign.
coach. You see the point. Okay, I was not saying that John
I didn't
McCain
say you
didn't.
said that. I was just pointing it
Well,
out.
that's exactly the
You were
by.
clear on Barack Obama suspending
You
his
know,
campaign.
hey, coach, hold it, stop. People are listening to this conversation.
Mhm.
I'm not, by you making that point, you're making it sound like I wasn't going to give
I
John
didn't
McCain
say
credit.
you said that.
I'm
I can only
saying
make that sound
no,
like
no,
that.
no,
I didn't
the
say you said it. I
history,
just clarified that they
the
both
history,
suspended their campaign.
you clarified, you were correcting me. The history
I wasn't
was
correcting
that,
you. You left it
No.
out. I just
okay,
pointed it out.
let's be clear for anyone who wants to check, right? It was
Yes.
Barack Obama who suspended his campaign first
Okay.
in order to go back, and then John McCain did the same.
And
It
he led
wasn't
the
the other way
charge.
around.
That was the right thing to do.
Right. And guess what? Barack Obama and John McCain and Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell all voted, joined hands with George W. Bush and bailed out Wall Street. Okay? It wasn't okay, so let's understand that. So the idea that Barack Obama had nothing to do with it, the idea that the only reason TARP passed was because the Democrats supported it. Let's understand that. This wasn't George W. Bush's solution. This was the Democratic Party joining hands with the establishment Republicans,
Well,
including Barack Obama.
then why? Then why
What?
do you start your conversation? Why do you start that sentence with Barack Obama paid in full AIG when, in fact,
no.
There was more detail to that.
I
First of all,
did
hang
not.
on.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
Did
you
you
did.
not?
That
I'm
you did.
sorry. Did I
Okay,
misunderstand?
can I prove that you said is not true? I did
Okay,
not say
I mean,
Barack
I'll watch
Obama.
it.
I did not say that Barack Obama paid AIG. I said Barack Obama agreed, now that we owned AIG, right, because we bailed them out, agreed to pay Wall Street 100 cents on the dollar on their contracts. That's what I said. Okay. So can we get it right?
Was made prior to Obama's administration.
No. The bailing out of AIG was made prior.
Mhm.
You're putting the onus on Barack Obama, which is fine.
Because
Put
he
it on
was,
him.
Bush.
because
Put it on
he
him.
was, no.
Put it on him, fine. Let me be
Because
clear. Can I say
we
one thing?
owned, he
Okay.
voted for the bailout, and once we owned AIG, once we had the AIG, and we had to decide because they had huge contracts with lots of people. We were operating AIG.
All right, we got.
Right, okay,
No one's
and in
arguing
the
that
operation-
point. Let's be
Yeah,
clear on one
Beth
thing.
is.
Hang on. No, she's not. You said Barack Obama. Well, however you said it, The
It's not
onus is on.
however I said it. I
Okay,
said
the
that
onus
we
is on
agreed.
his hands that AIG got reimbursed 100% on their
No,
default.
AIG did not get you're saying it wrong.
Okay.
I am saying, okay, we bail out AIG in September 2008. Beth is right about that. I didn't differ with that. I said, now that we own AIG, we're operating AIG. Barack Obama took the oath of office January 20th, 2009, right? Okay, Americans are protesting in front of AIG in February
Okay, let me make one
2009.
point.
Hold,
Hang
no,
on.
well, let me finish for a
Okay.
second.
Okay.
Don't make your point in the middle of my point, right?
Okay.
Okay, Americans are protesting in February 2009. Barack Obama is the president, and they're protesting because they're saying the decision is now, because Wall Street wants to get paid for these unregulated insurance policies. And they're requesting, since the government is operating AIG, that the government honor their contracts. And that was the decision that Barack Obama made. Okay. That happened in the spring of 2009 when he was the president. And the idea, because he said it, press conference, I have no other choice but to honor these contracts. That is not how bankruptcy law works. What do you mean you have no other choice? You have every choice. All creditors take a shave in a bankruptcy, but not Wall Street.
We're
right?
being clear on your we're being clear on the point that Barack Obama holds the onus that okay, let me make one clear point.
Yeah.
George Bush's Treasury Secretary was a former chief executive officer of Goldman Sachs.
Yes.
They literally reconvened the tax laws to make it beneficial for him to take the job to the point where he would not be taxed on a $500 million bonus if he took the job.
Yes.
So let me be clear on the discrepancy. Hang on, pause. When you talk about Barack Obama and shady dealings, the Treasury Secretary that really, this is no surprise that the market came crumbling down. There was Enron, there was the markets were known
which occurred under Clinton, right?
Right. No. Here's my point. Hang on. I got it. We do know Enron occurred under Clinton. My point is that the writing was on the wall. George W. Bush was the opportunist to bring in the right Treasury Secretary at the cost of literally relitigating the tax law so he wouldn't have to pay taxes on his bonuses. And then everything else, you're talking about like this giant surprise that Barack Obama approved. However you want to call it, AIG somehow got made whole to a point of 100%. I'm not reconvening your words.
Why do you keep on saying it wrong, Coach?
Yes, but
I'm not talking about AIG. No. I am not criticizing us bailing out AIG.
You're saying, however, no one gets 100% on bankruptcy, and under Barack Obama,
it's not AIG. We bailed them out because they are the largest insurance company. They have contracts all over the world, all over the United States. It would have been catastrophic for the U.S. economy. We needed to bail out AIG. My point is, now that we have stabilized AIG, and now they have contractual obligations, right? And the question is, because they're in bankruptcy, they're owned by the federal government, right? How do you honor their contractual obligations? And what the American people were requesting from Barack Obama is that the banks who signed the unregulated contracts, insurance contracts with AIG that caused AIG to go bankrupt, okay, that they should not get 100% counterpayments. That those contracts are not right, and it was his decision to do that. This is not about compensating AIG. This is about
compensating.
Yes, it was his decision.
The full decision was made in Clinton. I'm sorry, in Bush's.
Obama
had to fulfill
was pre-agreed. There is no reason to believe that's
not true.
It was Obama.
First and foremost, Barack Obama supported the bailout itself, right, of AIG. I support the bailout of AIG. It is not true because we bail out AIG that you had to funnel 100% of all their contracts to all the creditors. No, that's not true. Okay, it's a bankruptcy.
Upset, yes, but ask how much the taxpayers lost.
For anyone listening to this conversation, okay, you go into your Chat GPT and you check whether or not Americans were protesting in February
Oh, I
and
knew
March.
that.
And no, and because this is when the decision was made. And
Yeah,
that
because
you,
it was
excuse me, and you check when you check. It wasn't Barack Obama who had a press conference telling the American people
But
that
here,
he
we're
no,
consuming
you
a
don't
conversation
have
about
it,
honing in
Coach.
on a. We don't
No,
have it
It
no,
because
was
we
you
don't
don't
Barack
say
agree.
it.
Obama who made
We
that.
don't
Oh, no,
have it
you
because
don't
we
have
don't
to
No, no,
agree.
no.
We
Barack
do have
Obama
to.
did what?
We don't
I
have
don't
to
care.
agree, and we may never.
It's
But the
it's
point
factual.
is,
What do you
No,
don't
no,
agree
because
with?
it's
It's
not.
factual.
That
No,
Obama did
no.
what?
Go okay for
you're
people
literally
who are
saying
listening.
Barack Obama inked the check that went back to AIG. However you want to say it, I'm telling you the writing, the
This is
agreement was the
recorded.
agreement.
This is recorded, Coach. It's
I don't
how
know what
many
else to
times
say. You
you
keep cutting
distort
me
what I
off.
said. What do you
I'm
mean?
not
You keep on
distorting what you
saying. You
said.
keep on
I'm trying
saying
to
that
end this part of the conversation in some way.
Coach.
If the onus is on Barack Obama, let it be on Barack Obama. Can I
That's
say
my
that?
point. Stop
Okay,
lying to the kids
I'm not
because the
lying to the
Republicans
kids
are not lying to
because
them.
they
Everyone knows
are
what they
lying. The
stand
Republicans
for.
are
Republicans aren't
bold-faced
lying?
liars.
Yes. No.
You're building a castle in the sky if you think Republicans are better than Democrats.
No, I
And
didn't
that's
say
my
that.
push.
What I'm
I'm not
saying
saying you said it.
in the
I'm
eyes
just saying
of the
if you were to
kids,
think
Dick
that.
Cheney is Dick Cheney, right?
Okay, I'm not
Didn't he
saying
just
you
pass
said
away?
anything.
It is Barack Obama who says, I'm the people, we are the people we've been waiting for. It is Barack Obama who says, yes, we can. It is Barack Obama who says only in America. And then he turns around and betrays the very people who elected him. That's the lie.
How?
That's what I'm talking
It is
about.
Donald
I
Trump
just wanna
that
know
says he's
how.
going to reduce inflation, and it says inflation's a hard task. I
Hey,
mean, come on.
Donald Trump
We keep knocking down Barack Obama
because
like
he says all the right
he's the
things,
same as the rest.
But the difference is how he presents himself. How did Bill Clinton present himself? He presented himself as the white working class. He presented himself as the people, as a man who understands black people.
What is the issue with how a politician presents themselves when they all present themselves in false light?
The issue is betrayal. The issue is if you
They're
present
all
yourself.
betraying us.
No.
Why are you so? Why
There's
are you
a difference
so
between
angry with Obama?
There is
You've been betrayed by every single politician for 50 years.
Well, let's as the only black person on this in this conversation.
Why
am no. Right. I'm not as the only black person in this conversation. I'm criticizing another biracial.
I don't consider.
No. There's a reason.
Can I ask one question? Pause. Can I ask one question?
I mean, what
do you call it? Pause.
I'm
just
seriously,
asking a
I don't
very serious
understand
question.
the two of you. Why do you think I'm criticizing Barack Obama?
I want to ask one question.
Because he betrayed me.
I insist on asking this question. When you see a doctor that's black, what do you call him?
I don't care.
You don't call him a black doctor. You call him a doctor.
Barack
Obama was a president.
No. What I'm trying to say to you here is that when you present, there's a difference. Politicians lie. I agree that. But if you say that you are one of us, if you say you are a man of the people, if you present yourself as the working class, single mother raised you, that was me, right? If you present yourself like that, and people trust you because you understand, because you've been there, and then you turn around and you convert the Democratic Party to a Wall Street party like Clinton did, right? And you turn around like Obama, and you pay out 100% to Wall Street, who destroyed the economy and destroyed the lives of so many working people who voted for Obama, right? And then when it comes time to help the American people, all you have is excuses and concessions, right? Okay, this is a betrayal. He promised that he was one of us. That's what he did.
I don't understand why you put so much responsibility on Obama.
This is why our kids don't trust us.
Hang on, let her just ask the question.
You don't give that same critique to Bush.
I have a complete contempt for George W. Bush. We haven't talked about George W. Bush. Read my book.
Because you won't bring
what do you mean?
You won't bring
I completely eviscerate George W. Bush. I'm not in the sake of this conversation.
Why are we putting down Obama and Bush?
Because why do we put down Catholic priests? Because
no, I'm saying why brought up Obama.
Why do we condemn Catholic priests who rape the altar boys, right? It's because this is a church. And if you send your child, you think that you should be able to trust the church. And the person uses the collar to access your child and then rapes them. Okay, yeah, that's called betrayal. And this is what, when you present yourself as the first biracial president and say, I was raised, by my grandparents from Kansas and stuff like that, and all that stuff, and it's true. Right. And you're saying, this is how I understand your pain. This is how I am. We are the people we have been waiting for. That's how he presented himself. And then he turns around and governs where he has an excuse for helping us.
But here's the thing. I can agree on 100%. You're making this point over and over again. The only point I'm building from it is we have been, okay. But you have made that. No one's disagreeing with the betrayal of Barack. I've made the point myself. He called the Unger House the biggest tax scam in the world. So let me be clear. The Unger House is the house in the Cayman Islands that houses 60,000 corporations, and they're all there for tax shelter. Barack Obama called it the biggest tax scam in the world. He first put Timothy Geithner in charge of it, and then he put Jack Lew in charge of it, which means it was a lie, because it was like putting the what do they call, the fox in charge of the hen house in both examples. No one's building Barack Obama above the law. He does articulate himself well. He does come across, like you said,
the
as
glorification of Barack Obama.
But there's no better. They're all the same. They're all the same. No, don't tell me they're
Barack
not.
Obama is everything
by all of them.
It's really. Does Barack Obama have the same reputation as George W. Bush? Because George W. Bush, his reputation is destroyed because he was a train wreck, right? How do we perceive Barack Obama? We rationalize and justify.
If people perceive him in a favorable manner, it doesn't change the fact that we don't.
The lie. It's the lie.
It outrages you. It outrages you. That's fine. We understand that.
He was a great president.
No, outrages you. This is why 54%.
You can disagree with his policies.
This is why
you can't say that he wasn't
I'm just telling you. This is why 54%.
He wasn't liked by the people. You can't deny that.
No. This is why the youth voted for Trump 54%. And 53% for 24.
And what did they get in return?
You know what?
I know that. I was going to say.
Hey. That's not the point.
The betrayal is the word we've used the most often. What did we get in return from Donald Trump?
The whole point of this conversation is, how do we appeal to our youth? And my response is, stop lying to them. Stop giving them these heroes who only betrayed them.
I've never built Barack Obama on a pedestal.
You felt betrayed, but I don't believe that
a lot of people have.
They've been
betrayed by Barack Obama.
They were just being born in 2008.
They've been betrayed by Barack Obama. Yes.
Hang on.
Their situation is much harder
because of Barack Obama. Pause. One at a time. Beth, jump in.
No, I'm just saying, like, we just put so much of the world's problems on Barack Obama's shoulders, and the generation that will be our next generation were born in Obama's term.
Yes, and he created he created as much of the problem.
Betrayed. And we think
W betrayed them.
So we thought
Clinton
Trump
betrayed them. I agree with you. It's not only Barack Obama. What I'm saying is the difference between W and Barack Obama is Barack Obama said he understood. He presented himself as them. As us, as the working class, as
when you say we need to be honest, you should be 100% honest and be 100% clear and give responsibilities where they are owed.
There is a difference between. There is a difference.
Trump.
I didn't vote for George W. Bush. I voted for Barack Obama twice. Okay, so no. This is the difference. I didn't vote for George W. Bush. I didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2016. What I'm trying to say to you here is, when you vote for someone, when you support someone, when you believe in them, right, and how they actually govern betrays you. This is all I'm saying.
But we got to stay on point, though. That is
again, that is how you feel betrayed.
The children feel betrayed.
Okay,
it's not me. We're talking about the children.
Okay, clarity. For the sake of clarity's sake, it's the children to feel betrayed by Barack Obama. I got the black people.
By the establishment. By the establishment.
Al Sharpton made it clear. Barack Obama betrayed the black people. He made that statement once or twice. We all got it. How does a president get elected elected by appealing to some group. Whether George Bush was appealing to the Christian conservative, Barack Obama was appealing to, like you said, a lot of various different groups saying, I know your pain, period. Donald Trump said, I'm going to fix certain things and I'm going to help you level up. They've all betrayed us. Like you said, the initial point of the conversation was, how do we do better moving forward? And I've always said that having these conversations is one way. But granted, we don't have a million viewers. We may someday. I don't know that. I will continue to do it till the day I die and see where it goes. And I've also said, from a constructive standpoint, when we talk about you saying capitalism isn't working, capitalism isn't working not because a Democrat was elected. Consumption is happening not because a Democrat was elected. Billionaires have literally grown in size and scope over the last 40 years, not because of Democrats. They are working together closely. So let me be clear on the whole AIG Barack Obama debacle, because if I try to preface it in one way or another, I'm getting it wrong every time. The whole AIG Barack Obama debacle.
Coach, before you do that, because you've just covered a lot of stuff, and now you're going to get into that, right?
No, I was just going to say, I was going to finish with that. Let me just finish with that. I believe they were all working together on that last move, if it was a last move. So all I'm saying is,
except that Barack Obama said he was different. Except
he
that
did
Barack
say
Obama
he was
said
different.
he
lied.
Right. He lied. Oh, no, the lie.
Bill Clinton promised to have a Glock kosher kitchen in the White House. Was he going to have Yasser Arafat over for matzo ball soup? Give me a break. They all lied.
Okay, if you want to know, again, the thread of this conversation is, how do we reach our youth?
Yes.
How do we, right. And when I showed you that from 18 to 29, that those voters, 18 to 29, voted for Donald Trump 53%, 54%. When I say that to you, whether you want to can I finish? Can I finish?
Sure.
When I say to you to understand why they did it, and you want to dismiss it as a mistake, you want to understand why they did it. They did it because he was the only anti-establishment. As flawed as he is,
you like to put it as like
he is the only anti-establishment.
I still believe
women
are this.
You see, Beth, why are you interrupting me? Why are you interrupting me?
Because you've already like this.
Coach just talked. Coach just talked for 2 minutes, and I'm just starting to talk. Can I finish? No. Okay. Can I finish?
Yes,
I didn't interrupt. I'm not interrupting you. So okay. What I'm saying here is, take note as to why they voted for Trump. Before you dismiss it as a mistake, take note. And it is because the establishment, Democrats and Republicans, have betrayed them. They don't believe you.
But he is a Republican.
You want him back?
He is a Republican.
Stop lying to him. No. He's not an establishment.
He's not.
He's an anti-establishment. This is what I'm saying.
He's a Republican.
He's the only.
Trump is the liar in chief.
He is doing their bidding
100%. As long as you don't. They vote. It's not a confusion. They voted for him. Why? Because they're Republican? Because they love the billionaires? No. It's because he's the only. He is the only.
Not anti-establishment. Kevin, he is a Republican.
He is anti-establishment.
Hang on. One at a time. You can
Coach,
go on.
Coach,
you know what? I want to make this one point.
I'm about to eject from this conversation. To say that Donald Trump did not run as an anti-establishment candidate.
He ran as a Republican. He is doing their bidding.
He is an anti-establishment Republican. He beat DeSantis. Look at all the establishment Republicans he beat in 2016 and 2024. All of them are establishment Republicans. DeSantis is an establishment Republican. McConnell is an establishment Republican, right? Okay. All of them. Rubio was an establishment Republican. He is an anti-establishment Republican. Get it straight, okay? And that's why they voted for him.
You don't have to eject from the conversation because I completely disagree.
No,
I
it's not because you
complete-
disagree.
okay,
It's because you're not being honest with me.
okay, it is that I disagree. I 100%
You think
disagree.
he's
So let me
okay?
just finish. There's no reason to eject from the conversation. Nobody's saying, Kevin, you're wrong. I'm just sharing
I,
my feeling. Hang
No,
on.
I did say he was wrong.
Well, Beth said you were wrong. I disagree. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He is the Republicans' crash dummy. He is as well the Democrats' crash dummy. All he's doing when people say when people say he has made the president more powerful than any other president, he has. And Democrats can't wait to seize that power. They're going to argue he shouldn't have it now, but when they have it, they're going to utilize every bit of it. So my point has always been, how do we do different? I'm not going to stand here and agree that Donald Trump is an anti-establishment president. He's not. And when you say people voted for him, they voted for him and they realized they made a mistake. He is he's
Okay,
throwing
that's
everybody out of everything.
Coach. That is if that's what you have to tell yourself to sleep at night, so
What
be it.
did you gain from this presidency? Because inflation is still through the roof.
No. Look. First and foremost, you understand the lag time in policy and economics. We are seeing what effect this presidency has because we're still living on Biden's economy. It's a lag time. We just entered Trump's first budget on October 1st. Okay.
But when we argued that point about Obama's budget,
I'm just saying,
Obama's economy,
these
everybody said it wasn't
nonsensical
his
comments
economy.
that you make, Coach, it really, doesn't help the conversation. I am not talking about whether or not we got anything for voting for Trump. What I'm talking about is there's a reason why we voted for Trump. And instead of you looking at the reason why we voted for Trump, why did youth vote for Trump? Right, because it's not because they're establishment Republicans. I don't care that you think he's not an establishment Republican. He ran a campaign that was anti-establishment. Period. He defeated every establishment Republican to get his right. Okay, then. So that is I'm not saying that Trump he's not capable of betraying the people who voted for him. Yes, he is capable of betraying the people who voted for him. What I am saying is they voted for him because he was the only anti-establishment voice. So you having the audacity to say because you think he's not anti-establishment that's not why they voted for him.
I not only have the audacity, I will double down on it. There's
double down on it.
Nothing anti-establishment about him.
Coach, my opinion, it's not my opinion why youth voted for Trump. It's not your opinion.
It doesn't change the fact that he's not anti-establishment.
It's not you. No, hold it. It is why did they vote for him? You cannot remove their reason because you don't agree. Who are you? I'm saying to you, they voted for him because he presented himself as an anti-establishment Republican. I never
said I disagree with that.
No, okay.
I think we all agree
I don't
that he
care.
ran as an anti-establishment
Why should anyone care that you disagree with the fact he's anti-establishment? That's not the point. We're talking about the youth. No, we're not talking about Coach Stippy. Coach Stippy. No. We're talking about the youth. We're talking, the point of this conversation is to appeal to young people. You want to understand young people? Understand them.
You said we want to not lie to them. We need to tell them the truth.
Yes, tell them the truth.
So
the reason why they voted for Trump is because he presented himself as an right.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody who's
that's the truth, right? And then the secondary
you don't feel betrayed that he's
by
not
Donald Trump.
You can disagree with them.
No,
it's okay that you disagree with them.
They have their right.
You can say that they made a mistake, but you better deal with them.
All I'm asking is, do you not feel as betrayed and angered that Trump has betrayed you?
No,
that Trump has betrayed
he has not betrayed me.
He's
not betrayed that.
Well, he ran as anti-establishment.
No.
He ran as he was going to raise. He's doing
what?
He hasn't done a thing.
Yes, he has.
Name one.
He's destroyed. What?
Name one.
He closed the border. He closed the border flat out. Right?
What did the aftermath happen?
And he's going after the 8 to 10 million undocumented people.
Our farmers are bankrupt.
Yes, the majority of us support that.
So our government can...
He's good. The majority of us support that.
That our farmers are bankrupt?
No. support the fact that he's going after undocumented. He closed the floodgates. Did he do it? Yes. This is one of the reasons he got
that's
elected.
the one
We
thing
get
he
all
has.
like
No,
worked up.
that's not the only
Obama
one.
deported like 1.8 million.
His
So, like,
his
1.6
tariff
million.
policy is
Close.
driving the multinational corporations crazy because they're at serious risk of having
This is
to.
opinion.
He's
This is
really?
opinion. This is
Oh,
opinion.
okay. So
Nothing's tangible.
Yes.
First of all,
but
First
this
of all,
is what he's
stop.
doing.
Stop.
Wait
Pause.
a-
Everybody,
This is what he's
Kevin,
doing.
you're consuming the conversation with Donald Trump praise. That's good. You like him. But let me tell you something about
Did Beth
tariffs.
ask me whether I
know,
felt
but
betrayed?
but let
and
me
so I'm
hang on.
answering the question.
Okay,
Oh,
but let's talk about. I just
forgive
want to
me.
talk about the tariffs for a second.
Praise.
It's called taco.
I'm talking.
Trump always chickens out. The tariffs cannot be tangible if he keeps retreating on them. You cannot have a fulfilled agreement if you keep backing out of it.
Look,
so we keep
Coach,
talking about the tariffs.
We've had that conversation.
We've had
about
it,
the
and you just praised it. That the tariffs are turning corporations
I-
upside down.
Wait, Coach. See,
The
this is the
tariffs
stuff
are
I'm
turning.
talking about.
This is an accomplishment. You claimed it to be an accomplishment. The tariffs
That
are
is not
making
praise.
corporate
If I say he does something, that's not praise. Praise
Not
is
praise.
he's a great
Take
guy.
away the word praise.
Well, then what? Why do you use that kind of language?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
It does fucking
It
matter
did-
because that's why you say it. No.
I've never heard you drop
that
the
is
F-bomb
not
before.
honest.
That was
That is
amazing.
not honest. I'm not praising him. I'm just saying what he actually did.
He said he
Beth
did what he's
asked
gonna,
me.
You said,
Beth
tell me
asked
what
me.
he's done, and you said absolutely.
Yes,
And
we've
then
had
you
this
went on to the
conversation.
tariffs.
He has
And then
not
I went
betrayed
on
me.
to the acronym TACO.
Okay,
Trump always
I-
chickens out.
No,
and then I
yes.
said you can't fulfill an agreement that never comes to fruition because you keep backing
Coach,
out of it.
Hey, Coach, he is the whole point of flipping up and down on the
Okay,
tariffs.
now we're okay with flipping up and down. You said it was a tangible accomplishment.
No. Hey, I don't like how the sausage is made, but the fact is you cannot make a plan on what you're going to do with your offshore manufacturing.
Well, neither can Obama.
No. Oh, excuse me. Right. This plan, his tariff policy is coming to a head because the Supreme Court is going to rule imminently. Right. And then take note of what he's doing with the Senate. They are negotiating on a tariff legislation that Lindsey Graham says that they have 80 votes for. And it's within the context of imposing high tariffs on anyone who buys Russian oil. But he's getting it modified to do what? To make it
It still has to go through the House. It still has to go through the House.
And it's going to pass the House. That's not going to be. Yes, it's going to pass the House.
They just lost another congresswoman. They're literally at a one-seat majority.
It's going to pass the House. Watch. Okay, my point to you is that is the end game, is for the Congress to give him the authority to exercise discretion on these severe tariffs. Then he will achieve his goal, which it will force Apple and the multinationals to now that they know he has the authority and the Supreme Court has affirmed.
They have not affirmed it. Actually, if you go on SupremeTalk.org.
Did I say they?
You just used the word that has affirmed.
No, I said that they are about to ban his authority, saying that he has to get it from Congress.
Right.
He's already negotiating with Congress for him to get it. That will be
that's
an
speculative, right?
No, speculative.
No,
it's in the news right now.
The guy that calls everything fake news. We're starting to quote the news.
No, look, I didn't. Did I ever call anything fake news? This is your.
I'm talking about Trump. Trump's spreading the news.
I'm the one talking here, and when you say that, I'm quoting the news. You make it sound like I'm saying everything is fake news.
I don't. Everybody knows what you're saying, Kevin. You're going on a defensive.
But why are you criticizing Trump for something about fake news while I'm talking in my
Because he's decimated the ability for the news to do their job.
All it is obscuring the point, which is that that the way he's getting his tariff authority in place, until his tariff authority is permanent, multinational corporations will not spend the money to bring manufacturing back to the United States.
Okay,
and
that's very realistic.
No, that is about to happen.
It's speculative that it's about to happen.
My God,
you got to agree it's speculative.
Of course, it's speculative, but it's in process. We could see him doing it. We
don't see him doing anything other than picking up the phone, and talking to senators. They just lost another. It's a major defection that just happened happen in the House.
Hey,
His credibility is going down to zero
yes.
in a lot of
Okay,
ways.
so let's see if he fails on the vine there.
All right, no, I
Let's
said it
see.
was speculative, and you couldn't leave it at that.
I'm not saying it's certain. I mean,
I just
what's
said
your
it's
point,
speculative.
Coach?
Because
Yeah,
you're literally
what do you
saying
mean?
that I'm saying
but
it
you're
could
calling
be Lindsey
it's just
Graham
because
could
it's
say
not
he has
certain.
80 votes in the Senate. We don't know what he
He
has in
didn't
the
quote
House.
that. I didn't quote that 6 months ago. This is
Okay,
what they're
but
working on
and
now.
all I said was we don't know what he has in the House.
Look, okay. All I'm saying to you here is that he has a majority in the House. Just like he passed the big, beautiful, ridiculous bill. Right.
6 months ago.
Okay. 6 months ago. Right. He still has his majority in the House.
One
He has
big major defection.
the hurdle
There's
is
no
the
defection.
Senate. The hurdle is the Senate, where he has to clear 60 votes. He has 80 votes. If the Senate passes his ability to exercise discretion and impose tariffs on various people, right? The House, yes. Is it speculative? Of course it's speculative. It didn't happen yet. The House is going to pass it. You heard it here first, right?
Beth,
the hurdle is
because we can only agree to disagree. I still want to see it pass. That's what I want to say.
Hey, but
Because
this
I
is the
feel
answer
like
to Beth's question that, he's not doing anything, and did he betray
not
me?
done.
He's not betraying me. It's not done. He's trying to do it.
Honestly,
do we have the plan to end the war in Ukraine
Beth,
right now? Is that
it's
not
a bullshit
happening?
plan. It's never going to help.
Just like that
Of course, it's
ceasefire in
a
Gaza.
bullshit plan.
It's 10
But
days.
Is he trying
First of
to
all,
end the war in
Zelensky
Ukraine?
hasn't agreed to anything. Zelensky hasn't agreed to anything. But you're going to go into this whole tangent about Zelensky doesn't have to agree.
No, I didn't go into any tangent. I merely said this is what he's doing.
He's a bullshitter. He says he's doing it. It doesn't get done.
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying. But he's actually doing this.
Gaza's not even over.
No, he's actually negotiating with Putin to end the war.
Of course. Why wouldn't you? Of course, you negotiate with the war criminal.
No, what do you mean?
And I've made it clear he's targeted civilian locations
That's why Biden didn't talk to Putin. That's why Obama rejected Hillary Clinton's nonsensical argument that you don't talk to your enemies. What is wrong with you, Coach? Of course you talk to
Putin all you want. Tell him to stop bombing civilian apartment buildings. Get one agreement. Putin, please stop bombing civilian apartment buildings. Please stop bombing residential power plants.
Bring your allegation to the International Court of Justice and the
International Criminal Court. He's not bombing.
Right.
Facilities that provide power to civilian locations.
We have international treaties that govern this stuff. That's absolutely hold him accountable if he's unnecessarily killing civilians.
Are we going to ever hold Netanyahu
But don't be a complete hypocrite when it comes to Israel. Because
we've been on a same page on Israel every time.
How dare you even raise the question of killing civilians? No, how dare you even raise the criticism of
We've been on complete agreement on Gaza
Coach,
over and over and over.
How dare you sit there and criticize
We have
Putin
been on complete agreement.
Can I
you
finish
serious?
the sentence? Can I finish this?
No, you're throwing Gaza in the mix like I agree with Netanyahu and I do not.
Can I finish the sentence?
If it's valid.
No. Can I fucking finish the sentence? Okay, you're talking, Coach. You're the host, right? Okay. So let me finish my sentence. How dare you criticize Putin for killing civilians while the Israelis are killing tens of thousands of children? What are you talking about?
And you've never heard me say that. You've never heard me say that. I've never criticized Netanyahu.
I've
said it on 100 times.
I wouldn't shape my mouth for a minute to criticize any leader while that is going on, because I know I haven't heard Bupkis in this conversation about you because we're not talking about Putin and killing civilians. But if you want to bring up killing civilians, hello, there is tens of thousands of civilians getting killed, and they continue to do it in Israel right now. So you show your bias when you do that.
So you just admitted that we don't have a ceasefire in Gaza.
I've brought it up.
The only reason we don't have a ceasefire in Gaza is because the Israelis are violating it. It's not Hamas.
You're not going to hear me defend that.
It's not Hamas. Okay.
I've defended. Okay, so you're literally saying I've defended Netanyahu.
No, I'm literally saying that if you want to interject that Putin is killing civilians in Ukraine when we're not talking about that, right? That's what I'm saying, because we're not
You're
talking
saying
about
that. You're
that.
saying
No, no.
Trump came
If
to an
you want
agreement
to,
for a
no,
ceasefire
that's right. We're
with
talking about Trump, and
and
somehow we're talking about
Ukraine.
killing civilians. Well, if we're going to talk about killing
Ukraine.
civilians, no, if we're talking about killing civilians, yeah, but we're talking about ending the war in Ukraine. We're not talking about killing civilians. But if you want to throw in that Putin is killing civilians, right, okay, that's what I'm saying. You're bringing in something that we're
I've
not talking
brought
about.
up Netanyahu killing civilians 100 times on
Not
this
in this
podcast.
conversation. Not
No,
in this
because
conversation.
we've
No,
gone into 19 directions.
because you're more sensitive to whatever the allegations of Putin killing civilians in Ukraine. Bring that to the International Court of Justice.
You
You talk
brought up
about
Trump saying there's an agreement
ridiculous
on the
stuff.
table for Ukraine.
That's
There's
okay.
no
The
agreement.
International Court of Justice and an International Criminal Court will have their day if, to the extent that Putin is engaged in killing
No
civilians
one's
unnecessarily.
arguing that
And
point.
I
No one's
support
arguing that
Okay,
point.
well,
You
are the one
said
who brings up.
you
You're
brought
the
up
one who brings up
Ukraine
this
and
nonsense.
Trump.
You're the one who brings up this nonsense.
Guys, okay.
We were not talking. I was talking about what is Trump doing. Beth's question: am I betrayed? I'm not betrayed. He ran that he would end the war in Ukraine. He has been trying to do that from day one. Has he failed so far? Yes, but he's trying. We can see he's trying. He's negotiating. Okay, that's what he's fucking doing. Okay, so that's why I don't feel betrayed. I don't feel betrayed, and I don't think young people feel betrayed. He is dismantling a federal government that has not served the American people in decades. That's flat out. He is dismantling, firing.
He's the bat harder than anybody.
Hard.
I've said it 100
yes,
times.
Exactly. How has this American government in the last 32 years served the American people? Pick a department, any department, and tell me where the American people is better off based on what the government is doing. We've made Reagan's criticism, the most dangerous words in the English language. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. We've made that shit a reality. And Trump is taking a sledgehammer to that government. And what are we doing? Boo-hooing over all the thousands of federal employees who's supposed to be serving to protect American health. And American health is collapsing.
That's a whole other point. We're gonna have to
the
wrap
tens
it up,
of thousands of people at the Department of Education who's supposed to be educating our children. Your
That's
big
a whole
belly
other point.
Right. But what has happened to education in the last 30 years? Because you know what? Public school education in the 80s used to be good.
Hold other. I'm not.
Get
into another topic. We have to get into other topics in a week from now. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, okay. This comes from, is Trump betraying me? No. He's doing what he said he was going to do.
No one's
arguing. Is he
arguing.
betraying the people who voted for him?
Stay happy.
Yeah.
No one's. But I'm not. And
That's
no one
okay.
should argue
That's
that
okay.
point with me.
No. I didn't say you
I
need
have
to be
given
happy.
him all the acknowledgement
I didn't say you need to be
hang
happy.
on, pause. You're interrupting everything I'm saying at this last closing moment. We've got to close it quick though, but let me close my thing because I am the host.
Yeah.
I have given him all the credit in the world for swinging the bat harder than anybody else, including negotiate, including crazy ass tariffs that he has retreated on back and forth. If it has some positive effect, we all want the captain of the ship to get the ship to port safely and better than it was before. But as far as I'm concerned, every politician has betrayed us. I have no surprise that Donald Trump is not keeping to his word. On some things, he's keeping his word more than any other president. I have made that point. As far as the point of Putin bombing civilians, I have made the point Netanyahu has been merciless in Gaza. I have made the point it is the most densely populated area in the world, and he has dropped nearly 2,000-pound bombs on that mostly densely populated. So no one can tell me I haven't made that point. I have made the point that Donald Trump, for the most part, does have a close alliance with his supporters, and that won't ever change. And I've never tried to change that. I don't want to take any voter away from Donald Trump. It's not doable. But I've also made the point that initially we have 3 Democratic candidates seeming to starting to flex their chest, and they're all the same as always. And that was my biggest concern for this show.
None of those 3 candidates you said, Coach, dead on arrival. You know where the energy in the Democratic Party is? Mamdani.
Okay.
The mayor of Seattle.
Okay.
The mayor of Boston.
They rising up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And guess what?
Let's say what the Democratic Party does worse when you say
You know what the thread of the ascendant part of the Democratic Party is? It's the Bernie wing. It's the anti-establishment.
Who's now voting for Trump?
Right. Well, no, I'm just saying, when the Democrats have the courage to present anti-establishment candidates like they did in New York City, right? The entire establishment went against Mondami, and he crushed them, right? That's the energy. If the Democratic Party will stop being an establishment party and start joining the American people in the anti-establishment wing, you will see Democrats become ascendant. The three
Beth, how do
clowns
you
that
feel
you
about
the
Mondami?
three clowns you mentioned, dead on arrival in a national election. The senator from
One of them
Georgia.
will be the candidate.
So, and that's why the Democrats are going to lose,
Right.
because it's another establishment Democrat. No,
Absolutely
yeah.
yes. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. Beth, how do you feel about Mondami?
I love his energy. Do I think he's actually going to achieve everything he's round on? I think it's going to be a struggle, especially for New York. But um, I think he's headed in a great direction. I think he's going to be legendary, quite honestly.
Hey, Beth, what do you think
Legendary is a
about his
beautiful
meeting with
word.
Trump after Trump opposed him, and then look what Trump did in the White House? I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it's typical. I think Trump knows that he has the energy that he doesn't. Uh, Mondami has the energy that Trump needs back.
Well, Trump
Okay,
is
that's
getting
fair.
older.
That's
Trump is
fair.
getting older. So you talking about Mondami would okay, so my again, is the Democratic Party going to get it wrong? And I'm going to answer the question, yes. And are one of the three, Gavin Newsom, Josh Shapiro, or John Ossoff, going to be one of the candidates? Yes. And is it going to spell disaster
Not going to
again
be
for the
Ossoff.
Democrat?
I
It'll be
remember
Ossoff.
when you and Charlie were looking forward at Fetterman, and now we've learned.
But again, my point is I love Mondami's energy. I love Trump's energy, and I'll say that clear. If a million people want to hear me say it, they can hear it. I love the fact that he's crazy nuts as hell, but I don't like what he's doing. But I want a president that shakes things up, but not the way he's doing it. And there's a lot
Well,
of grifting. There's a lot of profiteering, and that's an issue with me. You know, they made the point that the $200 million ballroom was the $200 million ballroom was by donation. And now they're starting to really dig deep into the donations, and they're all benefiting from the donations. Long story short, they're going to get big contracts that are going to supersede any sort of cost of advertising it would take to get those contracts. So stop the nonsense. When
I
anybody
agree with you, Coach. I think Trump is a grifter of the worst rank.
right,
I mean,
not
he's
necessarily of the
profiting from the.
worst, but you're
Oh
at a
my
president.
God! No,
You're
no, no, you remember? Oh my God! He has people staying in his hotels, governments. I
and
mean,
the
Secret
government's writing
Service.
the
That was his
checks.
first
Yeah,
time.
no, this. No, this is. Look, I'm not critical. I'm not uncritical of Trump, but that doesn't mean he's only a grifter. So yes, yes, they're all grifters. Sometimes they do some good things. Sometimes they do some bad things. It's not that Biden never did anything good,
Oh
or
God,
Obama
no.
never did anything good, or W
But
never
they were
did anything good.
grifters. But they were
But they were
grifters.
grifters. That's exactly
And you know
right.
what? I can honestly say some of the most popular Democrats are grifters. And
Yeah.
we're starting to see the grifting in the Supreme Court. I mean, they talked about it about Clarence Thomas, where he was on yachts and boats and
Yes.
trips
Oh
and
my
shit
God.
that you
You
can't
talk about
afford on a
it's.
$190,000 a year salary.
We
So
got
let's say,
grifters
you know
across
the
our
song?
government. Yes.
I'll write the song Grift Away. I don't care anymore because
Well, we need to care. This is why our kids
I
don't
just
care.
don't because there's no controlling it until we get to our youth taking over. And that's the
Well,
point of this podcast.
then
Not for
you
us to, the fact that we vigorously disagree, for the most part, disagree, for the most part, agree, and then vigorously disagree is the idea of what can our kids get right? And I can't preface that point enough that the only way they're going to get it right is first off, start off with a knowledge of how bad we fucked it up and
yes, that's
then
right.
understand how to they're going to look at this shit show and laugh at us and they're going to
Yes,
say
they are laughing
and
at
they're
us.
going
They're
to say
rejecting us.
I always say it's going to be funny when they think maybe the only voice of reason how in the world could the only voice of reason be a crazy asshole man with a nickname Coach Trippy and I'm going to be like, you
But
know what, that was my goal, was just to be the voice of reason, not to have an opinion, to hear everybody else's
but
opinion.
Coach Trippy, if your solution is to help them to be entrepreneurially successful, I'm telling you, that's dead on arrival.
Entrepreneurial
Because
successful has a lot of meaning. Life
yeah,
successful.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
be
yeah.
happy with your life.
I'm what no, what I'm trying to say is that the methodology has been poisoned by how we have distorted this economy. How
The
all the signs of the best way to be entrepreneurial has become toxic to these children. They're not going to do it that way.
so to
So I'm
wrap
just
it up,
saying to you, yeah,
let me wrap it up. We are in a life skills, mental health skills crisis. When we talk about entrepreneurial successful, we need to get past the financial aspect of it and understand how people can be happier with their life on a large, massive scale. She needs to stop. And and that's really where we need to go with this. When I talk about life skills, I'm not talking about how to be the next Jeff Bezos. You may be the next Mark Zuckerberg. I don't have that answer. But just being able to go home and know your kids are going to have a place to stay, you're not going to lose your house. They're going to have, I mean, that's the most important things are the basic three hots and a cot, a nice house.
I hear you. But we started, Coach, where you started in that conversation in talking about the education system was it was the creation of 20 Amazons, right? And
No, I talked about how
that would
more
be no
people need to find a way to
uh,
success.
no, you
Success.
literally said 20
Yeah, I did. I
Amazons.
did
Okay.
absolutely,
So
but
that's all I'm saying.
metaphorically
Okay.
speaking.
Well, yeah, metaphorically speaking, that's what you said. Okay. So
Yes.
what I'm trying to say is that that is not the message that they need to hear. This is not about them accumulating as much wealth as possible. They see that as the problem. Does that mean that they don't want to have a nice life? No. They just don't want to get there by impoverishing as many people as possible because that's what that does. It all that wealth accumulation has impoverished 40, 50%, maybe 60% of the country has less than they used to have 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And so what I'm saying is that they're not replicating that. And
No.
if you want to appeal to them, you're going to have to speak out of a whole different language because all our traditional languages
From
have
you
been
and Beth's point of
soiled.
view too, and Charlie's
Yeah.
point of view.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. And a lot of other people's point of view. I have a lot of guests on this show. They're
So
emailing
that's
me all
why
the time.
I try to work on a new economics.
I
That's
love
why I
it.
try
I
because
love
we
it. That's a
need
big
a
part
new
of our
economics.
conversation. I read your book all the
Yeah.
time. I literally said, if we're going to quote everything I said I almost referred to it like a Bible. I'm always looking back on it and wondering what else can we do. So, guys, um, let's continue this because I think next time we continue it, Charlie will be here.
Yeah. No, this was great. It got a little heated,
It's good
but
that it got heated. You just can't
I
go
love it.
nowhere. Even as frustrated as you get, you just can't cut off the feed because we need you for the conversation, for the duration of the whole conversation to
Yeah.
wrap it up
No.
on a good
It,
note.
so you wrap it up. Bring us home, Coach.
Bring us home, Beth.
Okay, we're home.
No, Beth, tell us something good. Tell us something good for the Thanksgiving week. Tell us something that you know that could that shows that where your heart is right now.
Well, I looking forward, I feel like this new generation is going to see and learn from what's going on now and make hopefully the promising thing right now is that we have a lot more youth in their early 20s more politically involved. If Trump did anything, that was getting more people involved. And especially at a younger, because he was so big. Everybody loved him. Everybody was always had their eye on Trump. He was always a shit show. It was always fun. And if anything, it got them interested in politics. Now, if I was disinterested when I was younger, I would have known better, to make better choices in my when I went to vote. And I would know not to go down ballot, even though, so we can look forward to that. They are into politics earlier, knowing what to look for earlier.
It's
That's
a
a
beautiful thing.
positive.
And you gave Trump credit. So,
Yeah.
and Trump loves getting credit.
Yeah.
And so, Coach, I will say something, and then if you then you close us out in terms of you saying what's on your heart. So I'll say what's on my heart. Yeah, when it comes, I am blown away by our youth. because as far as I see this in my work as a climate and sustainability consultant, um, they already see that the way that things have been done over the last 50 years and prior, right, is not working. And they are already making their own way. I think, coach, your desire for them to be entrepreneurial is, I think they're the most entrepreneurial generation. But it's expressing itself in places like Etsy. It's expressing themselves in how they are exchanging, because they have less resource. So they're using innovative ways, localized ways, community wealth building ways of exchanging goods and services and leveraging and picking up skills. And they're doing very exciting things. So my heart overflows to them, because when wealth goes to them, because their inherited wealth is passing, you're going to see how rapidly everything changes, because they're the first generation. This Gen Z is the first generation, to know that the system is broken and they're not going back. So the emergence is upon us. That's why I'm optimistic.
So I will wrap it up then, because that was two great things, beautiful things you both said. So let me tell you, I am so thankful that Kevin, at the point of saying we have all the hope in the world lying within our children. I think Beth has mentioned that enough times too. That's all that really matters to me, is that we can remain hopeful that as wrong as we get it, what Beth said is the fact that it is really promulgating an active younger voter, and a more informed voter. And if nothing else, they will spend the time and energy to be more informed. So that's what's going to change the world. So leaving it at, I'm thankful for everything, my family, my everything. I'm thankful on this Thanksgiving for everything. I want to leave it at that. I also want to say that the most beautiful thing I've ever heard is none of us know what tomorrow holds, but we all know who holds tomorrow, and we need to remain optimistic of that. So thanks everybody, and we're
Well
gonna do
Yeah,
said, coach.
1 week
that's our
from
kids. We're
now.
looking right at them.
Yeah, that's it. That's the
Exactly,
ones we're.
exactly.
That's what matters now, because that's what
Well,
matters.
I hope you both have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And Charlie out there, my friend, I hope
Yes,
you
sir.
have a
We need you
wonderful
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
thank
back.
you. You
Yeah,
too.
indeed,
Happy
indeed,
Thanksgiving, guys. Thank you.
All
indeed. Y'all
right.
take care. Be well. We'll be talking in a few weeks.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.